Hi, this is Press of Atlantic City sports editor Mark Melhorn, and I'm here with our high school football writer Mike McGarry to discuss the St. Joseph Wildcats. Mike, a really different season is going to come out to play for the Wildcats this year. Traditionally, always a powerhouse, in South Jersey. How many state titles have they won? 20 championships, through the course of the school's history. But with the realignment of the Cape Atlantic League year, the regular season is going to be much more difficult for St. Joe this year.
Well, it is. I mean, for years, people have kind of questioned St. Joe's schedule on occasion. Nobody's going to get to question it this year. They're in the Cape Atlantic League American Conference. They're going to be playing Group 5 schools on a consistent basis. They're playing Holy Spirit. They're playing the best schools around. And there's nobody that doubts that Coach Paul Stockel will have the Wildcats ready for this schedule. And not only are they playing that schedule, but they're every team's Super Bowl. Every week, they're going to be the team that, everybody they play is circling the date that they either go to St. Joe or St. Joe comes to their town.
Right. I remember last year when they beat Holy Spirit really bad, and a lot of people were talking about, is St. Joe the best team in all of South Jersey? But they kept saying the one detraction was, they play a softer schedule. That definitely won't be said this year. One thing that I think is interesting, though, is the fact that they are still a really small school. State non-public won, and they're going to have a lot of players play both ways.
Right, and that's the concern, and that's what everybody wants to see. Are they going to be able to hold up to the week in and week out rigors of playing that schedule? They do have, I believe, it's 10 players playing both offense and defense, and that's going to be the thing to see. Can they withstand the rigors of that schedule? Are they going to get more banged up than they have in years past? That's what we're going to see this season.
Well, one thing, though, that among many things that they have in their favor, Paul Sacco, 30 seasons there as the head coach. But also, one thing you have to absolutely weigh in their favor in any high school team is senior leadership, and they've got it with their quarterback.
Yeah, the other thing, like you said, before we get to the quarterback and this general statement about the roster, they might be a small school. They are loaded with talent. That's the other thing they've got in their favor. Starting with the quarterback, Anthony Giagunto, 17-0 as a starter, never thrown an interception in his high school career. You can't do much better than that. From all reports, he's looked better than ever in the preseason.
Right, and then you mentioned other talent. Roy Lucas, who is an outstanding two-sport star, football and wrestling, on the offensive line. And, it seems like every year St. Joe has a running back that they can turn to as well.
Yeah, they've got in the backfield this year, they've got Miles Peace, who they really expected big things from as a sophomore and junior, but he was injured, never really got to show his potential. Hopefully he can show it or fulfill it as a senior. They've also got speedy Robert Thompson back there, and as you mentioned, Roy Lucas on the offense and defensive lines. They're loaded up front as usual. Kevin Goldsmith led the team with 9 sacks last season. I mean, this is a team that lost 2 BCS quality players in Kaiwan Lewis, who's at South Carolina, and Max Velez is at Virginia, and losing 2 guys like that, you'd think they'd take a huge step backwards. Well, I haven't talked to one person this preseason who expects St. Joe to drop off that much from a defense that was stellar last year.